All right, welcome everybody. Chris Petri here. Thanks for coming by. We're going to do some interesting cards. We're going to do a fascinating occasional card. This could be an invitational card to a barbecue, to a dinner engagement, what have you. We're going to show you how to do it, how to set it all up with tape, with some paper to block out any splashing or smudging on your card as you're creating your occasional card. And we'll show you all the steps it takes to create this, and it's actually quite simple. It'll really go quickly. You'll be able to do a fresh, fun, exciting painting right here, and all the steps are covered here, so you pretty much will have everything you need to create a gorgeous card for any occasion. And so I'll zoom in on that card so you can see the painting. If you want to just try out the painting and you're not so much interested in the card and doing a card style painting, you can do the painting as well. So I'll just zoom into the card, and this would be a glass table maybe, or a white tablecloth by a window. We're getting some backlighting here, some real nice backlighting. I'll just put this over here so you can kind of zone in on this a little more. Some flowers, a vase, coffee cup, wine glass, plate, some silverware along a beautiful countertop, backlighting through the window, so you're getting some nice shadowing coming forward. And this is a gorgeous painting. You can try this out. If you don't want to make a card and you don't think that's something you want to do, you can still use this video as a great exercise to do a beautiful, fresh-looking painting. Vibrant colors. We have some cadmium red in here, French ultramarine blue, some gorgeous ultramarine violet for the wine and the shadows, some nice greens, some olive greens and sap greens with cadmium yellows for our outdoor bushes and grasses and things. So fun painting to do. All right, I will just take a few minutes to let this sit. You can hit pause and paint. Okay, so we're going to get started here. We're going to have a great time. We're going to actually create our card now. We're going to do could be an occasional card, could be an invitational card, birthday, holidays. Cards are fun to create. It's something that I've always found that you really it's exciting to give cards to people when you make them homemade with watercolors. So I always find that if I might be watching TV or something and kind of be in more of a relaxed mode, and then I realize, oh, I'm going to a birthday party today to celebrate somebody's birthday, or it's the holidays, all of a sudden I spring into action and say, oh, cool, I can make some cards. Cards are easy to make. Usually they're smaller compositions, so you're making them in a smaller format, so they're kind of fast. You know, you can make a number of them in a short amount of time. It's not like you're taking out a large sheet of paper and you're trying to design a beautiful painting or anything like that. You're just creating a beautiful, spontaneous style painting or, card, actually. So we're going to just show a quick way of doing a really exciting card. This one will pretend. We'll pretend that this one is maybe an invitational type card. So we have some watercolor paper here. Now what I did is I made this kind of a landscape format. So the card is in a landscape format like this, and then we can open it up and we have our message over here on the right hand side, and we might have something else over here, a photograph, or you can be creative with whatever you might be able to put something over here. If it's like a birthday card or a holiday card, I might put like some money in here, maybe $20, taped on with some tape or double stick tape, or maybe an Amazon gift card or something like that I might put over here on this side. And then I would maybe do my print or my handwriting over here, and just wishing someone happy birthday or so forth. So this card, though, let's say you're making an invitational to a party, a barbecue, or a dinner engagement or something for some friends and family for a gathering. You can take this card and you could do your watercolor painting over here on the right, leave some space on the left hand side. We'll show you how to do that. And then once you get into the card, you can put your message over here. You can print it out on printer paper and then tape it or glue it into your card, so you don't have to worry about maybe being as perfect with your message. You can have something printed out from the computer. You can tape it in here or glue it in, and that's all. Really a simple way to do it. So right here we have this is Fabriano paper, really good watercolor paper, 140, 300, extra white, rough paper, Fabriano. And what we'll do is we'll just start out with the steps, real simple and easy, how we're going to go about doing this. So the first thing I would do is I would look at my card and say, okay, we're in a landscape format here. So let's make it about a third, a little less than a third of the way from this edge over here. We're going to make our line where we're going to leave room for a message over here, a handwritten message or script or print or so forth. And then I have a T-square ruler. These are really nice to have. And I'll just take this and put it across the top of the watercolor paper. And what I did is I just trimmed down a piece of watercolor paper to whatever dimensions you want to make your card. It's real simple. You would just take your watercolor paper. Now, obviously, I took a piece of watercolor paper and I made it into like a wide format. So this, if we look with our ruler, we take out a ruler and we put the ruler across. So that's 15 inches across, and it's 5.5 high. So all I did was measure and get the center point here, and then make the fold. That's all you really have to do. So you just get the size of the paper you want. This is a landscape format like this, and then you have to double the width of it so you have enough to fold it over, and then you have the binding on this side, so to speak, and then you have your card like that. And then now that we have that, we have our size of our card that we want. You can make it a little larger, a little smaller, it's up to you. Then you would make our line across of where we want to have our message area. We'll make a little message box on the left-hand side. So we're going to leave this white paper. And then that's really another very simple way to do this is we just really are aware that we want to keep this free from any kind of splashes or smudges of paint. So we take a piece of printer paper, office printer paper. I just cut a piece of office printer paper in half. And then I put it on the paper like so. Just rest it on your card, the face of your card. And then once you do that, you just take artist tape or painter's tape or whatever. I would use the best quality you possibly can for your tape, because when you peel this tape off, you don't want it to destroy the watercolor paper. So the better the tape you can buy, they make that great tape you can buy in the big box stores, like the big paint stores and all that. Frog tape, I think it's called. In this way, it won't tear any of your watercolor paper. I'm using a really high quality artist tape, and then I just go right around. And we're going to make our border. So we're going to have a nice border going around our card. And then, you know, I know all of my friends, you create watercolors all the time. Most of the time, you're going to tape off your edges of your paper so you have a nice, clean, crisp edge for your paintings, your compositions. So that's all we're doing here is we're just taping off a border around the edge of our card, the face of our card. I made the bottom a little thicker, the border, so I made the tape higher up on the bottom border because I think it's a little better if it's a little thicker, the bottom border, but the other borders were halfway on our tape. So you just create as you will your border. If you leave it a little heavier on the bottom, it's going to look a little better, just a little touch heavier, a little wider. And then once you have that, that's it. You're all set. You have your left side of your card where you're going to put your message covered, so there'll be no splashing or smudging on the left side of your card where your message is going to be printed out or hand-drawn. And then here you have your painting all prepped with your tape and you have your border taped out too. All right, so now that we have this all set up, I'm going to just take my palette, drop it over here with my palette. So this way we have the palette set up nicely. We'll zoom in a little bit so we get a little closer in on our painting here. And we should be fine. There we go. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to do our drawing first in pencil. And then once we have that completed, then we'll start painting. So we'll be right back. We'll start our pencil drawing. And just a perfect time to remind everyone, hey, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's real simple. There's a subscribe button right below the screen here. So right below the screen, down to the right-hand side, you're going to see a little red subscribe button. If you hit that button, this way you'll be alerted to our new videos coming out. We make new videos every week. We do all kinds of great content. Every type of painting you can imagine in watercolor, or everything watercolors here. I do the landscapes, seascapes, flower paintings, cityscapes. We do interesting little offbeat type videos like this where we do interesting cards. We do interesting technique videos on specific things to learn as a watercolor artist, so you kind of get the inside information on how to get ahead on some of those real fine details of watercolor that maybe you don't always learn in a video where you're just watching a video being painted. We do those little side, we go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, and we cover some of those real interesting details that you need as a watercolor artist to get yourself making more beautiful paintings. So again, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and we'll be right back and we'll start our pencil drawing. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and we're going to start our drawing right away. And we have our paper all laid out. We decided on our size of our card, our occasional card. It can be an invitational card, birthday card, holiday card, whatever you like to make it. It's up to you. But basically the simple idea is from the start of the card, you want to just figure out if you want it to be a vertical, a portrait card, which would stand up vertically, or a horizontal card, which is in a landscape format. And we're doing a landscape format here. So just so we kind of, you can change it up if you want and make it a vertical card, a portrait card, which would, be taller and thinner this way. Or we're doing a landscape style card, which is, more of a card that sits up wider and it's a little less tall. It's just more parallel axis, as we would say. So here we have our working area. We're just going to do a nice, we'll do maybe some flowers. So we'll have a vase, maybe. We're going to have a vase here. Then we'll have some flowers. And I'm just making some stems and flower shapes. This is going to be abstract. We're not going to get into a million details here. Let's just do a nice abstract feel. So we just kind of know we're going to have some flowers here in our vase. And then since it's going to be a dinner party, let's make it more interesting. Let's have maybe a plate. We'll have a plate here. Maybe, yeah, we'll have a glass of wine over here. So we'll make a little wine glass, maybe a napkin over here with some silverware. Maybe we'll have a fork over here, and just a little bit of interesting that feel for maybe a dinner party or barbecue or something. So we have our wine glass, a little bit of silverware, maybe another. And if you find that you have an issue with maybe something, maybe the 2 pieces of silverware is giving us a problem, then let's just we'll just leave it to one. Maybe a fork here and a knife. Like that. And then maybe we have a table here, so we'll put a table across this back here. And I think that might be good. That this is maybe a teacup or a coffee cup here. There we go. So let's pretend that the light is coming from behind. Let's pretend we have maybe there's a window over here. So we'll pretend there's a window there. And we'll just make some window panes. And that just kind of explains where the light's coming from. If there's a window here, then we know the light's coming from the window. So we put some window panes. And then we have our table. And I think this is good. We'll pretend this is a dinner occasion. We're having a dinner party. And we're creating just a small invitational card. You can make this card. And then you can also send this out to the print shop and have this copied. So you can make out 10 or 20 copies of this. At the print shop, you save your original. And then you can have your other prints made up so that you can make cards you can print up at the print shop. And then you can put into envelopes and send out for your invitations. So this is a fun way to create your own personalized invitational card. And we're pretty much set there. We have our pencil drawing completed. And then what we'll do is we'll make sure we'll just clean up our palette a little bit here. We had some leftover paints from last painting. Let's clean up our palette a little bit here. All right, since this is a small painting, we're just going to need maybe a number 5, number 6 watercolor brush, round brush. This is a Da Vinci number 5, Kolinsky Sable travel brush. So we'll use this, fresh clean water in our water bucket, and we're ready to start actually. So now we can let's make this simple, abstract-y. We're going to have purple, a little bit of brown for that earthy color mixed in there, some blue, French ultramarine blue. So a really nice shadow color. A little bit of warmth in there too, maybe some raw sienna here. And that's all. We have a little bit of mix now. We've started here. And then we'll just pick up some of that. And since we have our vase here, and it's pretty good size, let's go right down the center of the vase. The light's coming from the window. So we're going to have backlighting here. So interesting backlighting. Darker in the center of our objects, and then on the edges of our objects it's more lighter. So we just remember that like this. See how we do that? We put the darker tonal values in the center and then let it just fade out to the edges, and then we add a little bit of warmer tonal values there into the mix. And then we also want to make some darker shadowing. And we just kind of mix our shadowing colors like so. Okay, now let's move into some green. Burnt umber, olive green, French ultramarine blue. Make a nice dark here. That, and we'll just get in some of the nice and again, abstract-y. We're not gonna get all worried about finer details. We're just kind of getting in some of the finer there we go. Now we will raw umber, and we'll just put in some of that raw umber. Like that. And again, just some flower shapes. Like that. Good enough. And we got some and that's it. We have our vase. We did some shadowing. You can make it darker here a little bit. And then we're just going to repeat our colors. Maybe we'll go with some French ultramarine blue. Some shadowing colors here under the plate. And we want to repeat the colors. And we could even pretend that this is maybe like we can say, this is going to be lots of wine there. We fill the glass up, and we will pretend that this is more of a simple color. Simple color scheme here, so we're not going to try to get too fancy. Let's keep the colors there we go. And even though I say let's keep them simple, we have to have some real exciting red here. Look at that. We'll make our utensils maybe a nice, bright, exciting red color for our handles of our utensils. And perfect, look at that. Okay, now we're going to stick with the same colors. I think that's good to do. Let's just kind of stick with the same colors, and we're just going to do our frames of our windows. And you can just mix all those colors that you've already got in the palette there. Since we're going to keep the color schemes simple on this painting, you're really going to zip right through this. You're not going to be worrying about what colors to use. You're just going to you're going to use all the colors that we already mixed, like that. And there we go. A little bit of splashing. Now, the only thing we'll do is we'll introduce a little cadmium lemon yellow and some olive green. We're going to pretend that we're looking at the outside of the windows, and there's some grass out there. That's all. And we'll fade that up to the upper area here like that. Then maybe we'll get some raw umber and some olive green and just leave some white edges in between the panes of the window, and you've got it. Just a touch of light on those panes of those windows. So you're going to leave that white paper there. Here, you're going to add a little bit of flower shapes along there on that. And then we wash in some of that warmer tone there, tonal value there. There we go. Perfect. And then we just add some green. And that gives us a feeling of green outside the window there. So there's maybe some bushes and plants and things. We leave the table I'll put a little more shadow on that cup in the center of the cup. And that looks good. And if we go, let's not get too carried away with too many details. And I try to mix around the same colors I'm using. Now here's the exciting part. This will be, before we do that, let's do this. That makes a big difference right there if we add that bit of color there on the left side. That's very important. Okay, you can see it now. It's all blending together beautifully. Once you get these washes in the where the window is, all the window panes, once you get those washes in there, I'll do some splashing in there. If you splash over maybe the wine glass and you don't like that look, you can just lift it up like that. And if you want to lighten up another spot, you can do that too. You can make some little things of light and dark spots here and there. That always looks good. And maybe a little bit of cadmium red. Since we have it down here, let's add a little bit to the flowers up here. That really looks great when you can do that. When you can add some spots of color and harmonize your painting. If we have red cutlery here, our fork and knife has some beautiful red handles on them. Well, let's add some red over here. And that balances the painting out. See how that works? If we just have the red over here, it doesn't look as exciting. You add some balancing to that, where you have some more red, beautiful red, cadmium red up here, and then it changes the whole feel of the painting. And then I like to avoid symmetry, so we'll make this red flower bigger, and this one smaller. We'll make this one larger. One there, a couple here. Perfect, look at that. Okay, and then you can even take that red and put it in a couple spots here and there, and just blend it around. It's enough that the eye will pick that up as a pleasing effect of that red, cadmium red blending around in the painting throughout the whole entire painting. Okay, what else can we do here? Let's get real excited here. Let's do our shadows. Purple, French ultramarine blue, a little bit of our green and brown mix there, and let's do our shadow for our windows. Look at that. Make this shadow mysterious. Don't just do a line. Have fun with it. Make it a little mysterious. Maybe blot up a little bit. It's going to be darker next to the window here, right by the window frame. It's going to be darker there. And then maybe over here too. There'll be the shadow of the window going across this way. All right. There we have it. Very simple, very effective, lots of color, lots of exciting light. The light coming through the window, the backlighting, shadowing from the window panes, the grills on the window. You're seeing the shadowing on the table. Maybe that's a white tablecloth. Maybe it's a glass table. It's a little mysterious. That's fine. Let's keep that simple. We have a little bit of shadowing under the coffee cup there. We have some light bouncing around. And that's all we need here to have a fine painting. And that suggests a dinner engagement, a barbecue, some sort of event where we're going to have some food, enjoy, parties, festivities. And we'll move our palette across here and we'll peel off our tape and we'll kind of get the feel of the finished card. So we will carefully peel off the tape. And again, this is where you want to use definitely really good tape. I know there's some great commercially available tape. You can get frog tape from your big box stores, your big hardware stores. You can use frog tape, that's great. Painter's tape, fine trim. It's called fine trim tape for fine trim when you're painting around moldings and things like that in the house. You want to use a really good soft tape that's not going to chew up your watercolor paper, because you don't want to do all this beautiful work here doing a painting like this on a card, and then when you go to peel your tape off, it's tearing up all the paper off your card. And using good paper, I'm using Fabriano paper. Good paper is really a must too. If we're using very inexpensive paper, I don't even think the tape is going to matter. All tapes, no matter what they are, high quality or not, they're going to tear up the paper and ruin it, because very inexpensive watercolor paper will give you problems when it comes to taping things. So you might want to work around that too. Maybe you can cover your painting a different way that doesn't make it so you have to use your tape. But in any case, be careful with your tape whenever you use tape. If you can use the very good painter's tape or really high quality artist tape, that will give you better results. So now we're going to peel off this over here very slowly. I kind of peel it on that 45-degree angle like so, versus just going like this and going straight. We just take it and go slowly and keep that 45-degree angle going like that. And there you have it. Okay, now what we can do is we can also mix up just a little burnt umber and olive green, French ultramarine blue. And maybe we can do a few more with our needlepoint brush. A couple. There we go. Okay, perfect. There we go. And we'll zoom in. And there we have the card. It's in landscape format. And what we'll do is we'll just do a little trial run of some writing on our card. just to see how that works out and looks, and we'll be finished, and we'll just zip in here so we can see the card a little more close up like that. And that's really nice. That gives us that feel of a dinner party, something where you have food, wine, some, a nice table setting, flowers. Looks just great for like a dinner party or something like that, a barbecue. Okay, so we'll come right back. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll do our writing on our card, and we'll be all set. All right, we took a quick break. We just wanted to refresh our concentration a little bit. We did a lot of work. We did our entire painting. Once we took our break after we did our pencil drawing. So we did our pencil drawing, then we just, got right into our painting. We got this all completed. Our card's now pretty much 90% completed. I see a few spots we could do a little touch up. So that's when I would probably grab my needlepoint brush here. I see just a few spots where I could use a little bit of shadowing. I think like here on by the handle of the coffee cup, I think that looks good. A little shadowing there, and maybe a little along the top of the inner side of the cup there. I see maybe this spot here, a little bit of that sometimes looks good, just to get that little bit of and then we have the maybe a highlight on the fork and knife over here. We have a and that looks pretty good. We're keeping this simple again. We're not going too we're not getting involved in tremendous amounts of detail. We're keeping this kind of abstract, our painting, keeping it free looking, fresh looking. So we just did a couple touch-ups of some highlight where you can see we just did a little bit of that. Then we can tape it down just so we have, we'll keep this secure as we just do a quick message on the left-hand side of the card. And again, you can take these cards, you can make like one card and then have it reproduced at a print shop if you want. And then you can have it recopied, so you can make numerous cards with this. You can have the print shop make 20, 30, 50 cards just like this one, reproduce it with your message inside and so forth. You can have it all made up and ready to go. They'll make it up for you. And then you can save them for your occasional cards, your birthday cards, holiday cards. Anytime you think you want to make a card for anything, thank you cards. You can have them all pre-made with your own art on them, and that kind of gives an exciting feel to it when you're gifting this to somebody, or if you're sending out an invitation and so forth. So we have the card completed. Let's use our T-square. So this is a T-square here. And we're just going to use it to make our lines on our card here. So we'll make a few lines, very super light, just so we have some lines on our card here to use. And then maybe our card will go with a, maybe I'm going to use a gray Sharpie. Keep it more subtle, the writing subtle, so that the painting itself pops a little more. If you keep the writing in a grayish color or a black, that would kind of keep this painting looking more exciting and fresh, and the colors will be more vibrant. So we'll put over here. There we go. Welcome to my YouTube channel. That's a perfect time for me to say, hey, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We make great videos like this all the time. We do our normal weekly paintings where we go over all kinds of interesting paintings, you know, flower paintings, seascapes, landscapes, cityscapes, still life paintings. And then we do these fun extra additional videos where we go over making cards, we go over techniques, colors, palettes, doing color swatches so that we figure out our color schemes in our paintings, so on and so forth. So just a fun reminder that we always are doing some new and interesting things here on our channel. So I hope you'll come back for more exciting videos here. And we'll see you on the next video. And happy painting, everyone.